So far here, we have implemented all of the mechanics we need to be able to receive guesses from the user, validate them, and then update the underlying strings that represent what data we have, and update the canvas with our drawings. But what we're missing right now is our secret word generation is just returning secrets. So right now we have this function called get secret word, and all that does is return secret, and that is not very fun. Every time we play this game, our secret word will be secret, and once the user gets it once, maybe twice, they'll realize, okay, this is just going to be secret every single time. So what we need to do is develop a word bank. So if you control F in your REPL and search for word bank, right around the top, line 20 or so, you will find a list that contains a no elements right now called word bank. And so what does that look like? So here we have word bank equals this. So what this is saying right here is that inside of this variable word bank is a list, meaning just like you can think about how you can maintain a list of just about anything, a shopping list, a to-do list, a list of your test grades, grades in different classes. Lists in computer science represent the same thing. Our list here, hopefully, obviously, is going to represent a bunch of different words that we could use in our game. And so your first task is to just fill this in, and you can either do it on the same line, so like this, secret, comma, test, and so on. This should not be literal dot dot dots in your code. It should just be more strings until you get to the last string. So that's one way to do it. Or if you find yourself writing a very, very long list, another way to do this is to actually open up, go one line down from here and an indent forward, and then you can start your word here. So I'll make mine programming related, constant, computer, for loop is 2 words. How about conditional? Lots of C words, and so on. And then at the end of this, I'm going to close this list. So this list contains 3 elements: constant, computer, and conditional. It's opened there and closed there, and just like as if this were on one line, we close the line with a semicolon. So now we have 3 words in our list, and if we wanted to, we could ask, you could run your code, and then in the console, you could ask, what is word bank.length? So if you execute that, that should output, think about it for a sec, how many elements do I have in this? That should output 3. But just as with strings, we can also label our indices here. So this is actually item 0. This is item 1, and this is item 2. So notice that there's no element, just like we see with character at with strings, there's no element at index 3. Well, what we want to do when we get a secret word is pick a random element from the list. So we're going to get rid of return secret. We're going to start over from scratch. So get secret word has access to this list of words, word bank, and we're going to say our variable random index equals, and we're going to ask for a new random integer. And one thing that I see a lot of you doing is when I go onto a new line, I see a lot of you all also going onto a new line. The convention is typically you want only 80 characters on one line. Oops. But whenever I find something can't really fit, I just jump onto the next line. So this is plenty. I believe there's plenty of space for you to fit this entire um, text on one line, or you can just do it. I'm doing it here. But we want to choose a random number from the first element in our array. So what's the index of the first element in our array? Well, it's 0. And then what's the index of the last element in our array? Well, here it's 2. So we could put in 2 here. And then we can say that's that. We're done now. And then we can return from word bank. So just like we've been accessing elements of the array in class, you use the square brackets, which say go into that array and get the item at our random index. And then this function here will return that to the function that called it. And then we will be done. It seems like the answer to that is yes, but I'm going to introduce a couple more words here and ask you what happens. So we have 2 more words now. We're going to include Carol, and how about one more good one? JavaScript. So now we have 4 elements in our array, and our randomizer is only going to generate numbers between 0 and 2, including 0 and including 2. So we could get constant, we could get computer, we could get conditional, but we can't get Carol, and we can't get JavaScript. If we return over here, wordbank.length is no longer going to return 3, it's going to return what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have a list of length 5, and you can see that you might be thinking, you might be going somewhere with this wordbank.length thing, and that is exactly right. What happens if we put in wordbank.length? Now we're getting somewhere. So now we will generate anything from the number 0 all the way up to the length of the entire list. So could be 0, could be 1, could be 2, could be 3, could be 4. But it also could be 5, and there's no element at 5, and this would actually cause our program to crash. Definitely something we don't want. So to avoid this, simply subtract 1 from the length of the word bank list, and you're all done. So please enjoy implementing this. Come up with a good list of words that are either challenging or themed. You search on Google. I searched on Google and found a list of really challenging Hangman words. Things like rhythm, hard with no vowels. Also in there was fuchsia. A lot of really hard words. So anyway, enjoy doing this, and then we will see you in the next video.